Hey y'all, and welcome to the Buchholz Nursery YouTube channel. If you haven't already, make sure you're subscribed to this. We're going to be adding more conifer and maple content here to the Buchholz YouTube channel. If you're a specialty nursery or boutique garden center and be interested in shopping with us at Buchholz Nursery, getting rare conifers and rare maples for your garden center, make sure that you go and register as a user on buchholznursery.com so you can find out our availability. So today we're talking about the Go series. I'm here with the man, the myth, the legend, Talon Buchholz, founder of Buchholz Nursery, the guy who introduced the Ghost series. Now, Talon, it all started with First Ghost. First Ghost is the first ghost of them all. So what happened? How did this tree get introduced?
Well, the tree was, the first ghost was originally just named Ghost, and it was a mutation on Beni Shigetatsu Sawa, uh, and I had that planted in the garden as a stock plant. And then one evening, I went up. It was just before dark. I was walking up the road near it, and I saw this mutation, or this. It seemed like a ghost hovering over the other plant. And I originally thought that somebody put their T-shirt on there, or a white plastic bag or some garbage or something, because I never noticed it before. And that was at the point when it was already probably a 3-year-old mutation. And so I called it ghost because it just looked like a ghost hovering over that plant. And later, when I introduced other ghosts, as in purple ghost, which is behind us here, I realized that ghost wasn't a great name. I should call it something else because it'd be confusing. So I called it First Ghost. So that was the origin of the Ghost series.
I really liked First Ghost. I mean, it's got that purple border around it. It's got that reticulated variegation that gives it the sort of eerie, it gives it that sort of eerie ghost-like appearance. I mean, it has a unique form in the way it's sort of semi-pendulous.
Mhm.
It's not a straight upright tree, and it has a decent fall colors, which can range from yellows to oranges, and I've even seen some reds at it from time to time. I mean, it's a very unique tree and a tree we try to make available as much as we can here at Buchholz Nursery. The very first ghost, the very first tree from the Ghost series, though, I believe it's Purple Ghost, correct?
My memory is not great because this all happened 30 years ago, 40 years ago, whatever, and I don't remember all the details, but I think Purple Ghost was the first to really get named as a part of a Ghost series, and that's not a name I coined. The Ghost series, that was came after a newspaper article in a local Portland newspaper. But yeah, Ghost series is. I guess there was originally 8 or 9 of them, something like that, and these were selected seedlings. So the first Ghost was a mutation on a different named cultivar, but the ghosts were all original seedlings. So the one behind us, Purple Ghost, was originally named Kasag DG92. And Kasag meant the parent was Kasagiyama, uh, a, 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 a cultivar that hardly anybody grows anymore because it's been exceeded by the others, like Purple Ghost. And DG means we're in the display garden, the original display garden. And 92 was the year I planted it out, I think. So it's actually probably older than 1992. It could be 3 or 4, 5 years older than that when I put it in the ground. And
The thing I like about Purple Ghost is it has a really good upright form, and it can give you unreal shades of lavender purple to fuchsia purple on the foliage. You get that reticulated variegation that's known for the Ghost series, and you get a really nice fuchsia purple fall color. To me, it is one of my personal favorites of the Ghost series, and it's a tree that gives people unreal colors on a Japanese maple. You can get some of the most unreal colors out of Purple Ghost than you can get from many other maples in the industry.
well, it's a name cultivar, so it's a clone, but they're not all the same. It depends on where you garden. It depends on the season. Even here, it's sometimes we get more sun earlier, or hot sun earlier or later, and so in North Carolina, it's going to grow a lot different than it does here. It's not the best as far as form and structure of the ghosts, but it's a good vigorous tree, and it improved on Kasagiyama much more, and that's why you don't see that variety around hardly at all.
Now, next up, we have what is possibly the best form of the Ghost series. We've got Acer palmatum, Amber Ghost.
Mhm.
And Amber Ghost has some really nice amber hues in the springtime, going to some cream with some amber hues again later. And to me, while it has the best form, it is also one of the best fall color selections in the Ghost series. To me, in Western North Carolina, where we're at, we actually get some really nice shades of orange red out of Amber Ghost, which are just outrageous. So for me, that one is one of my favorites of the Ghost series as well.
Yeah, it's I mean, I'm a maple collector. I love maples. I love to collect them, but I'm also a nurseryman, and making money was the the main thing. And Amber Ghost was the most vigorous, the best form, vase shaped, upright, strong grower, takes full sun, and so it became the money maker more than some of the other ghosts. But they're all different. They're all like sisters, and they're all beautiful in their own way, and so but Amber Ghost was the money maker.
He mentioned that it is very sun tolerant. For me, also, it is one of the most heat tolerant of this Ghost series selection. Many of the Ghost series, if you give them morning sun, afternoon shade, it's going to be the best condition for any of them. But Amber Ghost has been one for me that has proven that it can handle more sun in the southern United States than many of the other Ghost series and many of the other reticulated Japanese maples. And those veins are still very prominent in the early spring. They put on an excellent show, and it can handle those more higher heat settings with a more upright structure. So it is probably, if you're looking for an upright tree in the Ghost series, it possibly has the best form of any of the Ghost series.
Yeah, Amber Ghost. These names, I just they just spilled out of my brains, and that's not saying much. It's not like I sat down and thought about what to name things. I just when we decide to propagate something, I need a name. I need a final name, so there's no code name, and so it just whatever came to my mind. Sister Ghost was Amber Ghost, First Ghost, or whatever. These are just things that no committee sat down and decided to name, and but Amber, it's Amber for the one day I saw it and said, "Oh, that's Amber Ghost then." But then the next day or the next week or the next month, they kind of change and it's not Amber anymore. But anyway, but I don't know. I had fun with the names, and you know things like Uncle Ghost and Martha's Ghost, and it's just stupid names that I put on these plants, and well, of course they stuck.
Now, you mentioned Sister Ghost too. Now, Sister Ghost has one of the most serrated foliage of any of the Ghost series. It has really serrated edging to the ghost, to the leaves, the lobes of the leaves, and it is more on that white, creamier side,
Mhm.
with almost like green veins in there. And
Mhm.
it also has that sort of semi-pendulous form, but yet a little more upright maybe than some of the others.
It's a bush. It's not really a tree. It's a bush, and we've uh, we've had it grown in full sun here, and every year we get 100 degrees and more, and no humidity, and it holds up fairly well in the heat. So it's a doer. It's a good garden plant, and it won't take up a whole lot of room. It won't be at all sizable like the purple ghost behind us, and so it's a nice colorful shrub. I assume that in many parts of the country, it should be grown in afternoon shade to look its best. But I've had it in full sun, and it's a remarkable plant.
I've often used a variety like Sister Ghost in those more shaded situations to brighten up those darker spots in the garden. The creamy reticulation still seems to show fairly well in those shadier spots, but by adding that lighter element in there, you can sort of brighten up those dark spaces in the garden. Next up, we've got Uncle Ghost.
Mm.
And Uncle Ghost is one of the, I guess you'd say, rarer. You start to get into some of these rarer ghosts. Uh, It's one that you don't see that often in the nursery trade,
Mhm.
but you can get some real nice shades of like pink, purple, red on Uncle Ghost that you don't get on many of the other Ghost series. Now, Uncle Ghost, that is one of those ones that has that sort of mid-sized, small to mid-sized of the Ghost series. It's not, it's much smaller than Amber Ghost. It's much smaller than Purple Ghost.
Mhm.
And it sort of has that semi-arching habit to it as well.
Mhm.
I mean, it can give you some nice shades in the spring. It's got some decent fall colors on it. It's one of those trees you want to give it some protection from the hot afternoon sun in most climates. Um, but it can put on a real colorful show. And then next up we've got Grandma Ghost.
Grandma Ghost is a favorite. I like that. It's got some great colors and changing always throughout the year. And fall color is wonderful, but I can't even tell you what color it is in the fall, because it's always different each year. You get a different color, and but it's a good sturdy grower, more of a tree than a bush, and so it's maybe my third favorite, I would say, out of the ghosts.
Okay, we're going through the ghost list. You mentioned your third favorite of the ghost. What would be? I've heard you say different things on your favorite of the ghost series. So at the moment we're at right now, what is your favorite of the ghost series?
I don't know what my favorite is. I mean, you know, which child do you love the most, but uh, for making money, Amber Ghost was it, and then all the others are just little gadgets that we we developed over the years. But they've all proven commercial, even though you don't see them all around. But Amber Ghost would have to be number one for its vigor and shape and color and all that. And should I go number two? I don't know, Purple Ghost, I suppose. But again, I'm trying to make, my whole career I was trying to make money, and so I had to go with the ones that were strong and vigorous and not so cutesy or wimpy or things like that. So that's how I rate plants, is as a collector's point of view, but also as a businessman's point of view. And those two don't always go together.
Now, one of the smallest of the ghost series is Baby Ghost.
Mm.
It probably has the least reticulation for me in the south of the series, but you still get some reticulation on it, and you can really get some nice sort of pink reds going across on Amber Ghost in the early spring. And for me, it is the slowest, one of the slowest, and one of the smallest with some small arching habits of the Ghost series.
Hmm. Yes, it's definitely the most dwarf, and it's more spreading than it is upright. At the road or at the Kubota Gardens is a nice old specimen that is 3 times as wide as tall. And in, interestingly, though, it was named Baby Ghost not because it was the smallest. It was just another name to put on it, like Uncle Baby or whatever. But it turned out to be the smallest of them, so it was aptly named for that reason.
Now, the rarest of the ghosts is Martha Ghost.
Hmm.
And it's one that you discontinued at one point. And I know you came and visited us in Western North Carolina. You wrote in your blog, if it looked as good as it did for you in Western North Carolina, you'd have never discontinued it.
Right. Well, a nurseryman continues and discontinues constantly, and but it's all, it's all business driven, really. And but some of these, like Martha's Ghost, that was named after an employee who used to work here, named Martha, of course. And I don't know, I just looked at her one day, and I looked at the maple. I go, okay, Martha's Ghost. So that's how it got named, and it was no other reason.
Now, oddly enough, my brother and I, when we were collecting the Ghost series, our grandmother was named Martha. And when we were reading a Maple Society newsletter article, we saw that there was a Martha Ghost. So we turned over every rock to track down Martha Ghost. And so now we have Martha Ghost again in production here at Buchholz Nursery. Next up, and the newest of the Ghost series, I would say the newest is Dark Ghosts.
Yeah, in many ways, I regret naming it a Ghost, because the Ghost series was these 6 or 7 or 8 or whatever there was original ghosts, and then 20 years later, I don't know. I just felt like dark ghost. Somehow it looked like a purple ghost, but darker, and so it got named dark ghost. And one other thing I'll say is that the only original ghost still at the nursery here is purple ghost behind us, and all the other ghosts were eventually sold to collectors. There are different arboreta around the country that have them, and in a way, I regret that I don't have the originals, but so I can't comment on them beyond what I saw in those first years. But once I had sufficient cutting wood on these plants, again trying to make a living, I sold the originals, and so I don't know how it'd be shaped or what it would look like today, but
Now, dark ghost seems to have a more upright form, like many of you, like amber ghost and purple ghost.
mhm.
It is much darker than purple ghost, and because it's much darker, the reticulation is not as strongly visible sometimes as it can be on purple ghost. For us in North Carolina, I have seen some good reticulation on it, but it is the darkest of the ghost series, and the ghost series is iconic. And it's funny that it was you weren't even naming it the Ghost series. It was a newspaper article, and then people started calling it the Ghost series because
Mhm.
you had Purple Ghost, you had First Ghost, and all these different baby sister, grandma. I mean, it became its own thing, and now the Ghost series is worldwide. It's been all over Europe. It's been all over the world. You can go to Japan and see these in garden centers.
Mhm.
And it all started right here at Buchholz Nursery.
That's right. That's
Well,
right.
well, again, if you're interested in becoming a wholesale customer for Buchholz Nursery, go register as a user on buchholznursery.com. You could need to be a wholesale nursery, specialty nursery, or boutique garden center to be able to do that. Make sure you're subscribed here on the Buchholz Nursery channel, even if you're not one of those, because we're going to be putting out a lot of awesome conifer and Japanese maple content. Take care, God bless, and have a great day.
Thank you.